What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down what's happening with the overall market thus far, what's going on with other factors involving the markets as we have the economic data coming out, not to mention more news about Tesla, and what you should be watching for as time progresses. But before I begin the devil's information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am personally not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100 into the account, you are guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed up to 15 free stocks, and the offer ends very soon. Anyways, for Tesla, we have a very, very nice looking upward trend that's starting to form right over here, and this could develop into a bullish wedge. So far, Tesla's showing some life, and we are seeing some signs that this thing wants to bounce. But in order for this to continue, it's going to also depend on the news because the news has been coming out for Tesla, and we're going to be watching to see how it ends up impacting it. It's been very impactful for the last couple of weeks for the stock, and we'll see how things go. But as of right now, we are getting some bullish signals that do suggest upside could be coming for Tesla. But let me first talk about some news and stuff before I break down what's happening with the charts. So for tomorrow, it's going to be Tuesday, March 26th, 2024. Okay. A little bit before the market opens at 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have some housing price data coming out that could somewhat affect the markets, maybe not that much. And then starting at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the consumer confidence report coming out and some important manufacturing numbers from the Richmond Fed. This is going to be very important to understand these different services for manufacturing shipments, manufacturing index in general, and also services from that end. This is going to cause some volatility, so watch for volatility at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 30 minutes after the market opens, and then at 10:30 a.m., that's an hour after market open Eastern Standard Time, we have the Dallas Fed Services Index and the Dallas Fed Services Revenue Report also coming out. So watch for more volatility in these different sectors. So this may cause more volatility for the markets. I would say that the most volatile time may be 30 minutes after market open and 1 hour after market open. Then at 11:30 a.m., we have the 42-day bill auction coming out. So watch for that, and we'll see how things go. For the week, do not forget that we just have Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then the market's going to be closed on Friday for a Good Friday. So we'll see how things go for that. But that is pretty much it for the market, at least for the time being, in terms of economic data for tomorrow. Now, for SPY, do not forget that the option chain is very interesting. Once again, we're closed on Friday, so March 28th is going to be the last trading day of the week. A lot of people may be on vacation as volume is starting to slow down on SPY, and we'll see if we get an increase in volume towards the end of the week or not. The options chain is very plain, very simple for the next couple of days until Friday. That's when things become serious. It's actually a bit more balanced on Wednesday and Thursday. But for Thursday, I'm sorry, did I say Friday? I meant Thursday. The market's closed on Friday, so Thursday is what I was referring to. March 28th is when things go crazy. On Thursday, we have just under, okay, about 400,000, a little bit around 400,000 of these calls expiring. I have a little bit over 2 million puts expiring for a 4.95 puts to call ratio. This means that the majority of positions were in favor of, or are going to be in favor of the short side. People are betting the market's going to come down as soon as Thursday. So as a market maker, I might hold the market up. If I was one, I would hold the market, or I would just like try to push things up a little bit more. That's a real possibility. So we'll just have to wait and see on that. When it comes to the fear and greed index, right now, market volatility kind of neutral. The VIX is still below the 50 daily moving average. Not much is changing for that. Puts and call positioning is kind of flat. Not much has changed as the market is kind of stagnant. So the market's not really doing a whole lot. In the morning, we got some negative news. Mizuho analyst Rakesh has come out and he basically downgraded Tesla, Rivian, and NIO. For Tesla in particular, he basically mentioned that EV demand is slowing, and this is a little bit negative for Tesla moving forward. So he was talking about that. They cut their price targets from 270 all the way down to 195, and they slashed their revenue and earnings estimates for 2026. Moving forward, I want to mention that there is some good news. Over 16,000 Tesla supercharger stalls have been opened to Ford, Rivian, and others. That's awesome. That's awesome. Excuse me. Awesome news. Giving Tesla more exposure in this department and helping Tesla's supercharger network grow exponentially. So that's great news for them worldwide. They're going to continue to grow as time goes on, and giving these facilities to these other companies out there just opens more doors for Tesla and helps bring in a lot more revenue. On top of all of this, excuse me, guys, I apologize. Elon Musk is also mandating Tesla to install a demo of FSD beta for every new delivery. And this is going to be very important because this will allow for more expansion of this. It's also going to help to automate different aspects of driving. Now, it's not perfect right now. It's going to require the driver's attention and such. But with these demos potentially coming out, this is going to help improve the system because more of the data is going to be collected from this. Now, it's not available to anyone in particular. You have to score very, very well on your driving safety score. So good drivers will only qualify, and you always have to pay attention when trying to use it. But it could be very useful for gaining more data that's necessary for them to improve it moving forward. And we'll see how this also improves as well. So this is going to be another package coming out. Besides that, as far as Tesla goes, Mizuho downgraded Tesla from a buy to a neutral rating, which is part of why we saw Tesla kind of pop and drop today. And then moving forward, the price price ratio is down just a bit as Tesla's not looking the strongest, but it is trying to base here. If it does base here, this could be a sign that it might actually go up a bit, which could help it. It's currently down, which is a sign of weakness for Tesla. But if it starts going up, this could be a sign that Tesla's getting ready for a bounce. For Tuesday, we tend to be green only about 51% of the time. We tend to see more volatility at 10 o'clock a.m. and 11 a.m. for Tesla, and also around 1 p.m. So this has changed just a little bit compared to before. And March tends to be a better month for Tesla compared to others, but this has been like not the best of months, not the worst month, but not like the greatest either. Kind of like so far. Besides that, I'm not really seeing anything else. 74 million was the volume, so we're getting very low volume on Tesla, which is no surprise for the market considering that spring break is around the corner. Not to mention, not much is changing in terms of volume. So, what I see for Tesla right now is very important. I want to note that Tesla is trying to uptrend and we have a bullish wedge forming. If we're bearish on Tesla, you want to see it lose 172. If we lose this, watch this white trend line right here in the 171s. If that fails us, we could come all the way down to 167.8. If we're bullish, you want to see Tesla continue to push towards 175. If we break this, we could be going all the way up to about 178. What do I think Tesla is doing? Well, honestly, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. I can't predict everything Tesla will do because it's very news dependent, and that could be very difficult. But I do think that from a technical standpoint, Tesla does look a lot more bullish, and there's a very good chance it's going to try to continue to push higher. It could come down a little bit, grab liquidity at 172, and start pushing up higher for 175 plus, and even break out higher. So I do find that to be very, very likely. So I think Tesla has some upside coming. Tesla loves to pop as we open, so it might actually just grab a small liquidity during the pre-market. So during the pre-market could be when it starts to grab that liquidity, just like how it did that today, just like how it did that on Friday. So it might come down to 172 during the pre-market, come back up, and then when we open tomorrow, look for a little pop upon open. Could come all the way up to either 175, if not 178, then come back down and consolidate. But overall, it's still on a nice uptrend. Tesla looks more bullish. Tesla will turn bearish if we get a bad piece of news, so just be prepared just to be safe. But I do favor, at least just based off technicals alone, we're looking a bit more bullish. For SPY, I'm going to be very careful with this because SPY is kind of indecisive. Now, SPY has this very, very nice looking channel that's developing, and we have a bull flag, which does tend to lead to bullish outcomes. Now, there are three possibilities about how this could possibly go. Number one, if we do break out of this like this, immediately we could be looking for a push all the way up, back up to all-time highs once we break that white trend line. That's looking a little bit less likely looking at the trends so far, but just to be safe, we'll see. The more bearish case, not really bearish case, but also another bullish case would be we kind of reject. We get one more liquidity grab down here. If SPY rejects and loses 520 again, we could be coming down to 518 first before we try to make our way back up. So that's like another bullish case. And then the bearish case is basically like we fall. We do the same thing, except instead of bouncing off 518, we just kind of collapse and we start losing the support. Because when you zoom out of SPY, right? We have this white trend line right here. Look at the big white line below. As long as we hold this, we could still be on a very, very nice uptrend. So those are the three possibilities, right? This is the bearish case right here. If we fail to invalidate, different things out there, this could play out. This is like the medium bullish case right here. And then this is like the super bullish case right here where we get that breakout. Now, as of right now, the super bullish case looks less likely. Looks less likely the SPY is going to go straight up to about 526. And the reason I say that is because the volume on SPY is not the best. If you look at the volume right now, it's not looking that great. You can see it right here. Volume is not that great overall. SPY is actually kind of slowing down a bit from that end. And then moving forward, with volume slowing down, I just want to mention that we're in this channel right now. So the best thing to do is kind of assume that we're going to just maintain the channel before we make a big move. So the way I would look at this is like this. It all depends on how we end up reacting. But SPY does have resistance coming up right here. It could get one more rejection, continue to just do this for some time before it gets like a bounce and a breakout. That's another like way this could play out. And I find a move like that to be a lot more probable looking at this statistically and looking at what's more probable based off our levels. Okay, so we have 520 as support, 518.97, 517.5 as support. We have resistance at the white trend line in the 521s. 522, if we break past that, we're going to easily go up to the all-time high at 524. So I think, just to be clear, I went over different possibilities. The most likely possibility would be if we don't get the breakout from here, we could just come back down to 518. And like I said before, we might slowly get that breakout later. It may take a little bit of time to get it. So we might see a lot of sideways price action for a couple of days before we get that breakout. That is a bit more probable, in my opinion. For the QQQ, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Now, the QQQ is showing a bit more strength than SPY because what I'm seeing is there could be a liquidity grab right here, and I'm not sure if the bottom is in yet or not. But I do see this thing eventually pushing up and trying to approach the all-time high. What could happen first is it depends on if we reject here or not. If we break through this resistance right here, we're going to be looking for a test of 446.8, a little back test of our previous resistance, and then we could get a push back up to all-time highs if we get a breakout from here. If we don't get the breakout, if we reject off this yellow trend line right here, we could come down to 444 first, see one more move down before we see an attempt to break out, and then we could get one final breakout for the markets to finish this month strong. And we could get a nice breakout because March 28th is going to be the last, I believe it's the last trading day of the month for SPY until April starts. And we have a lot of puts expiring. So that basically tells us that the market makers may favor a move to the upside. We might see a move like this. To turn bearish, you want to see this thing lose 442. If we lose 442, we're back to bearish, guys. I'm not saying that being very probable because every time we came down, we're seeing buyers defending it. So one of these two is the most likely possibility, but we either get like a rejection and try to break out, or we just break out from here. I'll just wait and see just to be safe. They're equally likely, in my opinion. Excuse me. For Apple as a bullish divergence is showing some life. To turn bullish, you want to see it break 172.5. To be bearish, you want to see it lose 169. Overall, with this bullish divergence, we're going to be watching to see if this thing tries to push up above 172.5, kind of rejects and break out like this. That's the more bullish case, but it might not be that simple. We could get one more drop down, like to 169, forming a triple bullish divergence before we start to reaccumulate and then get an end of the week push. So it's got to be one of those two. We either kind of break out from here and then we come down and start breaking out, or we could come down first and then break out. But either way, there's a very good chance Apple could get a bounce at the end of the week as long as there's no bad news. Watch and see if we can get above 172.5. That could come later on. My gut tells me it's going to consolidate for a bit and then we get a breakout later. So watch for that just to be safe. Finally, we have Nvda. Nvidia looks pretty good to me. I think it's very simple. Nvidia is going to easily go to the all-time high again, which is going to be close to the 974 area. But before we go to the all-time high, we could see this thing actually grab liquidity at 950 to 944. So kind of come down a little bit. Could retest 950 right here and then start pushing up higher again. So I think that there might be a little drop coming to Nvidia, then a nice bounce. But overall, the stock is very, very bullish. Nothing has changed from that end. Let's talk about a few more. I'm going to go through a speed run just to talk about the remaining tickers out there and how they're looking, in my opinion. Once again, guys, I'm not using Webull because I'm having some issues using it on my PC. I'm preferring just using TradingView for now. I actually find it to be a bit more comprehensive. So from what I'm seeing, I'm going to switch over to different time frames just to show you guys how things could turn out. We're looking at Palantir. I actually have the chart right here. And then I also have, let me just double check this. We have our very key EMAs right here, and we have supply and demand we're going to be using. So from how I see this, okay, this chart looks a bit more bullish to me because we established a higher low relative to the low down here. We have a potential inverse head and shoulders like structure, and I see potential for this to fill an imbalance. So I do see 24.9 to 25 coming at the very least, and if we break down, we're going to be pushing all the way up to about 25.5. With this inverse head and shoulders and a bullish structure, I do see potential for Palantir to push even higher. For super micro, this is looking a bit more bullish because we got some bullish news which led this to breaking out, and we have a bullish trend on the 4 hour. So I see this going up to at least 1100. Watch it break 1075 to get to 1100. That is very, very probable. For Rivian is trying to bounce a bit. We have some liquidity being grabbed, but I'd be careful because of this head and shoulders. I'm seeing two possibilities on this. It's either going to forming a flag, come down a little bit more to the low tens and then get a big bounce like this, Or what could happen is, and if it does bounce, we're gonna be retesting these EMAs like right like this. Or if it already bottomed and it's ready to bounce, it might not get much of a drop. If the bottom is in, it could just start to chop a bit and then start coming back up to the EMAs. It's got to be one of those two possibilities. Either it bounces here or it drops a bit more and then bounces. It depends on if the head and shoulders is considered complete or not. But overall, I see a bounce coming to Rivian. Either it drops a bit more and then bounces or bounces from here. I'll be watching to see. SoFi also has a nice bullish possible structure developing. We have a nice left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder developing. If we're bullish and we get a break above 7.6, I see this easily going up to about 7.9. If that breaks, we have an imbalance to fill all the way up towards 8.5. There's an inverse head and shoulders on SoFi. This looks a bit more bullish to me, so there could be a break coming. Excuse me, but if that ends up happening, wait and see. For AMD, it's showing some life. Okay, we're trying to base around our key EMA at 176. So I'm going to bring it up right over here. That's going to be with this 176 area. I would say that if we hold above this, we're going to be looking for a move back up to about 181. I think it's going to test this. If we break it, I think we're going to be looking for 186. If we lose 177, we're going to turn bearish. Right now, it came down but got bought back up quickly. So I think there's a very good chance it's going to try to push even more. We're seeing buyers defending it. So look for a move for 181, then 186. I'm seeing some potential life on it. For ARM, we look a bit more bullish to me. Got a nice double bottom like structure. Going to be looking for a move to 142 very soon, in my opinion. So I'll be watching for that. For Coinbase is on a bit of an uptrend. If we break past 282, we're going to be looking for a move all the way up towards 290. If we break that, 300 is next. So I do see this actually pushing a bit higher as we have an inverse head and shoulders and a very, very bullish looking structure to me from this double bottom. So Coinbase looks bullish. Amazon's in critical territory because we love to get rejected off 180, but so far it hasn't done so. It's fighting and fighting. It's going to be some tough resistance. If we break this, I could easily see this thing going up from 181 to 182. If we reject off this, we're going to be coming down to 178. I see potential in Amazon to push a bit higher from here. For Meta is actually looking a little bit weak on the 4-hour time frame. I'm going to be looking for a test of 499 before it tries to bounce, in my opinion. So it actually might curl upwards. So it might actually be like 500. Around 500 it might test, and we'll see if it bounces or not. If we lose that, we're going to be sinking all the way down to about this 494 area again. And if we bounce off this 500 zone, I'm going to easily look for a nice push all the way back up to like 510. So it's going to come down a bit. Watch for a test of 500, see if we bounce or not. But that is how the chart is looking. Anyways, guys, unfortunately for Tesla, there's so much news that affects it. So it makes it a little bit more difficult to kind of like predict exactly what Tesla will do on a daily basis because it's just so extreme. But what I can tell you is that Tesla is building a lot of strength. It's looking stronger than before, and it's looking from a technical standpoint like it wants to push higher. Now, for this to continue, as we're getting a bullish crossover on the PPO, we need to see a follow-through move tomorrow. We want to see Tesla try to break out as well. So we'll see how things go. The daily time frame is showing some life as well, as trying to push up as well. So that's looking pretty good. As far as Tesla goes, though, let's be a little bit patient. Let's see what happens with all this news coming out. And just know, technically speaking, it does look a bit more bullish to me. I'm going to be looking for a push up towards 175. It might come down in the pre-market. Then when we open, look for another push. If it breaks down 175, I see 178. I think it might be pushing for 178 plus. Come back down and consolidate for a bit and then maintain a nice uptrend as Tesla stock is looking a bit more bullish. With that being said, thank you for listening. Have a great day, guys. Remain calm, cool, and collected, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you and peace out.